Alright, we are recording. I hope this will be short because I've actually been somewhat sick lately, and it is late, and I really, really, really do want to just go to bed. But I don't want this sitting because it's been a few days since I last was able to record, and that was for Yaira too. Um, I'm not pleased with this. I found this one incredibly unimpressive and frustrating to read. So yeah, let's get through this. So written by Jen and Sylvia Saska, artist Deborah Carita, Taigo Gomes, and 137 Studios the inkers, and Jay Brown as colorist. Yaira is back, but she's been tricked into revealing herself in a very bad light. Her nightmares have bled into her waking reality, where she finds herself wreaking havoc, causing a massive storm that endangers innocent civilian lives. After discovering the long-lost city of Atlantis, her projects us as her alter ego, Dr. Sally Rodow, with her childhood friend Yeshua, who's come to help her. Something has been tricking Yaira into revealing herself to the entire world. You just told us that. With the Alpha Core locked onto her location, Yaira has to discover who has been manipulating her before it's too late. But still, it's like that's poorly written because, as I said, we already know she's being revealed. Was that the first sentence or was it the second? Yeah, no, literally the first sentence. Hang on. I actually had moved the camera around the other day. That's for the stream I did, I think. And I don't remember when it was. But yeah, so it was a little bit out of alignment. Get another nice long letter from the Saska twins at the start of this. Just like we've been getting letters in front of all of them. That's fine. We then cut to Spain, where we've got the news reporter who previously was insulting her. I was just like, I even made the point in the previous video, I think, that this was going beyond reporting. It was straight up opinion. It was editorializing, such that, I mean, true, maybe Spain is different, but in America, I'm pretty sure making statements like she was, and because they were just statements, not, and given as though they were objective, not as though this is my opinion or anything like that, such that it's like, yeah, you could get in trouble for that. That would be considered defamation. Anyway. Well, Yaira's fighting the hallucinations. By the way, no indication of the storm that she had summoned. But anyway, she then looks down. Yaira does, and just charges at her. And hang on, I actually just realized something. I want to skip forward a little bit. Let's see. Okay. And just attacks her, calling her Magus Kunzite. Anyway, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Kunzite. And just attacks her. And is like, oh, okay, so she's another Magus. I guess that just completely explains that. And the whole thing with New Mighty and still his soul still existing, the astral plane version of him still existing and tormenting Yaira. It's like, no, that's out. I actually liked that. It was kind of neat. But they, for what it's worth, in this story, it's like, oh, okay, so the whole Magus thing is a bit more developed now. Okay, I get that. But still, it is so stupid how so much of this is done. I mean, it's like, there are setup. No, there are payoffs with no setups. It feels at times like we're just missing pages, even when it's within the page itself. It's like we're just missing panels within the page. So many contrivances. So she slams the woman to the ground, and is then promptly punched because Stefania has arrived. Which, okay, yeah, that's fine, but it's also kind of interesting. No one even considers the whole Carrie Jones, who's Kunzite's alias, is supposed to be human. Yaira just literally, flew down in a ball of light, attacked her, slamming her to the ground, and no one apparently even realizes, wait a minute, how the hell is she still alive? Yaira's supposed to be so powerful that this should have just pulverized a human. But this never gets brought up. But it's also kind of funny because the thing I wanted to look forward, because we see Kunzite in a humanish form later, but only in a flashback kind of thing. She also has a very non-human form. It's like, okay, I can kind of see that that's her. At least the hair matches, but it's also, if this reporter has potentially been on Earth for a while, we don't know how. That's another thing. The timeline makes no sense. It's so, Yaira 2 so strongly felt. I'm sorry, Yaira, this is Yaira 3. So strongly feels like very little thought was put into it. As far as how does this actually all work? How does this actually integrate? It's almost like, oh, we have an idea. We'll just do this now instead of anything that makes sense following what was before. Now, I will grant that some of the criticisms I may have here are in part born from when reading Yaira 2, it's like, okay, I'm getting an idea of what's going on here, and predicting forward. Obviously, I'm going to be biased towards how I would tell the story. Obviously. That even if I wasn't a writer, even if I hadn't written my own stories, that's still going to happen, right? But it's not even left field. It's like, you're at the 50-yard line now. It's like, completely different sport, different stadium. What's going on here? But anyway, so Stefania's there, punches Yaira, and she's just like, "Hola, Stefania, how have you been?" And he just makes a point about the whole, it's like, yeah, you're stronger, but I mean, you still got nothing on me. And that, yeah, it's like, we need to talk, but Stefania's in no mood for talking. She's just in the mood for attacking. Stefania promises to kill her. Yeah. Yaira catches one of her punches and just says, I am sorry about Carmen. And then we see Stefania crying some here because that is able to disrupt her. But it's like, she said that previously. Like, Yaira has stated to Stefania, I cared about Carmen, who is Stefania's grandmother and is also a descendant of Yaira. So it's like, we already know that there's Stefania has known since in the middle of Yaira 2 or so that Yaira, actually no, early, because that whole stuff goes back to Yaira 1, has known there's a connection between Carmen and Yaira since then. And it's like she has to be told again and again because it comes up later as well. It's really stupid. But then Yeshua, he flies into the air and punches Stefania away from Yaira. And it's like, I read this as like, I remember, even though it's been a few days, I remember when reading in Yaira 2, I noticed he never showed any powers. It's like, okay, seems a little odd. Why is she the only one with powers? Oh, then we see the whole thing. I might even be able to just find this. Yeah. So this is in Yaira 2. Over here. How we see Yaira like starting to like manifest her powers now on this side. And the silhouette down there, that's Yeshua. And it's basically talking about how, hey, it's illegal to do that. That's apparently the crime that Yaira committed, was allowing her powers to manifest. He never did. So it's like, oh, him not using his powers, well, assuming that they are just common to the species, him not using his powers is because he never developed them, because he never wanted to break the law. She did. Okay, that makes sense. I'm good. There's actually a mention later that that's the case. Okay? Because she says to him, I thought you swore to never train. He's already flying and has super strength here. And she doesn't think about that. We're talking pages later. Right? Many events happen, never occurs to her. This is what I mean by this kind of stupid writing. Where it's like, this should have told Yaira instantly, something's off here. She should be asking this question. Even if it should have told her something instantly, but she could still ask the question later, because in a fight, if Stefania's here in the green, Alpha Core's clearly going to arrive soon as well. I'd focus on that. Then I can figure out, hey, Yeshua, when'd you learn to fly? it gets worse. In my opinion. Obviously, this is all my opinion. So, they have to deal, and this is so stupid. Alpha Core arrives. Yaira has to deal with them and doesn't want to fight them. And, so Laurie says, do the smart thing, stand down, after explaining to Yeshua that, they're, enforces the law and order and all that. And so she decides, all right, I'm just going to dive down with Yeshua to Atlantis. We then next see all 4 of them, of Alpha Core following. And at least Solari we can see, okay, it looks like, it's hard to see, but we can see it looks like they've got respirators on. Fine. Whatever. That's okay. Solari can fly, in theory, however you fly in the air can work underwater. Stefania has Yaira's powers, she can do it. Braxwell has been shown capable of flying, he can do it. Ingrid is there and keeping up. What the hell? She doesn't have that capability. Every time she's ever shown flying, Solari is holding her, is literally carrying her for that. She's not, she's just there. It's like, Yaira and Yeshua should be going like, phew! And Solari, Stefania, and Braxwell, Braxwell, I don't know. Okay. Solari and Stefania make sense. Also going, phew! Because Solari is just at that level, and Stefania is a descendant of Yaira. That all makes sense. Braxwell, I got no idea what his power scaling is compared to anyone, okay? Say, okay, he can fly. Can he fly as fast as Solari? No idea. He's strong. He's super strength. Is he strong as Solari? No idea. He's just there, and he has power, but it's where he is relative to anyone, no idea. Because also, like, in Yaira 2... I think it was in Yaira 2, he pulled out a rocket launcher to shoot. It's like, okay, he can be the weapons guy. That can make sense. No, he has this. I don't know. I do not know. Anyway, they dive down to Atlantis. Okay, why dive down to Atlantis? Well, it would make sense if it was the whole, hey, we can swim, we can breathe underwater. They can't. Oh, wait, no, now they can. No, that wasn't the thinking. Because, apparently, the wraiths are real. It made so much more sense to me, and this is the main thing where, I know, to me, the way my mind was taking in Yaira 2 and predicting out what the story would be, regardless of my writing stories or not, the wraiths were all fake. They were all hallucinations. So was Cleto. Now, maybe the hallucinations were being applied to Yeshua because he was also interacting with the wraiths. Or even that interaction was part of a hallucination for Yaira. It's possible. It's actually very reasonable that that's what's going on, that she was that far gone at that moment that she had no idea what was going on. That would be fine. But no, apparently they're just real. So now we got wraiths that are actually real. That also means that the whole Cleto saying that, yes, they're actually her and Neptune's sons, which he cursed their souls in order to make her immortal. So he's just suddenly this really bad, evil guy. But it's just like, well, wait, but he saved Yaira previously, was set up as a good guy, which, I mean, it's like, you can be not a good guy and still do this. I get that, but it's like, no, he's straight up evil. Like, for him to do this, he's evil. What the hell's going on here? But even then, maybe that's not consistent, because maybe that's not the case, because something later on, we're at the, I shouldn't be saying 50-yard line, but it's like we're suddenly there. We were playing baseball, and now suddenly we're at line of scrimmage. What's going on here? It gets worse. It gets worse. Somehow it does. So then, because they managed to escape, and somehow make it up to the surface, and no one questions about this. I mean, that's true. They went down to Atlantis. The submarine they took in Yaira 2 isn't shown there. Alpha Core doesn't try to investigate this. It isn't like, oh, hey, we should really check on that, because Yeshua, Joshua and Sally Rodell were down there. We should see if we can rescue them. We should see if we can find them. No, nothing like that. Even though that's completely something they should do while they're there. They should at least check the submarine. And Yeshua is literally just Joshua. There's nothing to hide. At least with Yaira, it's like, the glasses are gone. It's like she's in the armor now instead of the scuba suit, and she's not got the glasses on and all that. The Superman glasses. Not that. Joshua's just there, and no one realizes. Wait, isn't that the guy that? How the hell can he fly? Isn't he supposed to be here? Wait a minute. Is he maybe like Yaira? Because he was just with Yaira, but he was with Sally. Yaira and Sally Waddell, same person. It's like, come on. This is obvious. So they're back on the surface, and I'm glad you two are alive. They'll explain to investors how you left $1 billion piece of irreplaceable tech at the bottom of the ocean. That'll be its own adventure. Okay. If you put a number on $1 billion dollar piece of tech that's irreplaceable, it's like, no, you spend another $1 billion. Like, I'm sorry, we're not talking about the Mona Lisa here, or some work of art where it's like, no, you need that artist to make it. It's literally a machine. Maybe it was made bespoke, but it's also one of those things you wouldn't make it a second time anyway, because you'd make improvements. Like, if it were a prototype, it's like, okay, well, you'd either be making duplicates of it to make a series, like in Star Trek. The Excelsior is the NX, because it's experimental, 2000, right? Well, you then later see the NCC 1701B, the Enterprise B in Generations, that is an Excelsior class, because NX 2000, the prototype, was the first of the class. It's like, you're either doing that, or it's just a prototype, in which case, yeah, it's irreplaceable, because we're never going to build another one. We don't want to. We're going to build the next thing. We're going to build the NX 3000, the NX 4000, and so on. So it's stupid. But she's able to talk them out of suing them and all that, because it's like, what if we found a cure for death itself, which was set up back in the Yaira 1? Because like, oh yeah, we found an immortal woman down there that says she's Neptune's wife. So Cleto is real as well. It's true, and she has Neptune's trident. Where the hell did this come from? This is one of those, we just had a payoff, there was no setup. She never was shown having it earlier. In fact, the most we saw of Neptune's trident was in a flashback of hers from centuries, if not millennia prior, with him holding it. That was it. It did not exist otherwise. It's like, I'm pretty sure, like, even with him supposedly walking it, which I still think this all should just be part of a hallucination, he's not holding it or anything. So this is nonsense. It's like the sword that it's like Yaira gave Gorm in Yaira 1. Then suddenly in Yaira 2, she brought it with her from wherever her homeworld is. Which also, oh god, I have to write this in now. I'm sorry, I cannot read this out because it is a reveal later. It's not too much later, but I'll try to remember to come back and explain what this note is when I get to that point. I'll just pause the recording so I can finish writing the note, and then you don't have to hear more silence. Alright, but yeah, so it's basically, hey, we can get, Neptune's trident and this already immortal woman, so we can study her and all that, and it's like, so, yeah, give us more money, so we can, keep this going. We then cut to, Stefania, who's getting bandaged up. So Yaira then walks in, talking with her, and is basically saying, look, you're the one sabotaging your situation here. Any good thing gets sabotaged by your distrust. And then he asks her, what did Yaira, tell you? Because she just came out of hiding and was talking to you a little bit. What she tell you? How the hell should I know? Go find her and ask her yourself. Next we see we're at Projexus, and they have another ship, the Rescue Voyager, who's going to go down with just Yeshua, apparently, not Sally. She's going to go and rest, which that will get explained in a little bit. But I do just want to make a point. So he's going to lead that thing down there to get Cleto, but it's also like, hey, there's that irreplaceable submarine that's sitting there too. No, he's going to go down alone and going to do absolutely nothing to recover this. It's still just sitting there. I'm sorry, it would have made infinitely more sense if the two of them, after escaping Alpha Core, were just like, you know what? We're just going to go back on that sub and come up and we'll just be like, yeah, it was so weird what happened. Like, Yaira just appeared and, we were like knocked out or something, but hey, we were good when we woke up. We just got on board the submarine and came back up. Hey, what happened to you guys? It would have worked. It would have helped maintain their covers. But instead, we just got $1 billion submarine sitting down there that everyone's like, oh yeah, we'll just forget about that. So, as Sally, she is going to sleep, to nap. Not actually. She is going to... Hang on. Yeah. I must face them, the Wraiths, where I can triumph. The dream world. My body would lie defenseless as I walk that path. Guard me well. Oh, I guess I should be going guard me well since this guy would talk. So apparently she just does the whole astral projection thing, goes back down to Atlantis to confront the Wraiths, and it's like, okay, so she's going to fight them and probably be able to kill them because she's more powerful. Okay, I'm good with that. No, not exactly. She beats them up some. Manages to take the sword from one, and then it's like, with foot on chest of one of them. One of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bow or bleed. Tell me, is there any part of you that remembers your mother? And then she's still doing that, and the other 9 just go down on one knee and hold their swords out like this to her. It's like, it should not be this easy. I'm sorry. It's like, this is so, like, the Wraiths are supposed to be a threat, and it's like literally front and back of one page. That's it. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. We not only surrender because only one of us is in danger. Okay? We're not only just going to surrender from that, but we're just going to, yes, our swords are yours now. We shall follow you forever. We shall obey your command, master. It's like, payoff, no setup. Aid me by destroying the one wearing the human face of Carrie Jones. And then it's like they all just fly off together in the water, but I mean, it's not like it really matters. This is Dreamwell. But and then we see the Nightmare Queen, Magus Kunzite, who is basically this big, ugly spider monster thing. And it's the Nightmare Queen, so she's the one behind all the nightmares. So why did she think it was Newmite in the previous book? This is the Nightmare person, not Newmite. Which actually, I should put that in notes as well. Why did she think in Yaira 2 that it was Pneumite behind the nightmares. If she knew Magus, Kunzite, Queen of Nightmares. And look, as far as anyone being like, well, they hadn't thought about Kunzite yet. They hadn't come up with that idea yet, and that's why. It's like, okay, fine. That can be true. That doesn't mean we take a shoehorn and just be like, nope, get rid of Pneumite. He's just dead. That interesting idea that he's just continuing to survive in this astral form. That cool idea, totally abandon it. Throw that away. We're just going to introduce this completely new and different character that was not that was not set up before, was not established. It's just there. It's bad writing. Okay, it is. Because it's a non sequitur. It's basically like a non sequitur. Because you've just made the ending of Yaira 2 so much dumber. Because, like, oh no, it wasn't Pneumite that's tormenting her. Because that would be really interesting. Because how does she fight? Yaira punches things. She freezes things. She summons up storms. How does that fight basically a spirit? That's an interesting question. And I wanted to find the answer. And we do kind of get an answer, but because it's now something else entirely that does also have a physical form, it's all stupid now. It's wasted. So it's like, oh, she's not actually facing that challenge. She's facing a different challenge now. So Joshua gets down there with the second submarine, no sign of the first. And Cleto just runs to it. And by the way, no indication of her carrying the trident, but when next she appears, she's holding it. Yep, she just has it. And so Yaira with the wraiths of fighting Kunzite, but is then interrupted, which actually, this... That's actually a huge problem. What the hell? Hang on. This I actually do need to put in a different place in the note. Okay, so... yeah, when Yaira is first seen in chains, because Yeshua has betrayed her. She is clearly in a metal room, like on the sub, but then the next time we see her, which should be the same moment, really, she is on a wooden ghost ship. Huh? Yeah, and the thing separating between that panel at the bottom, so this is Yaira being held in chains, there's Yeshua, and there's Carrie, what's her name, so Kunzite in the humanoid form. We then turn the page, and we get this, that's backstory. I'll explain that in a little bit. But now we're here, and it's wooden. She's in the monster spider form, like you can see down there. But Yaira even has want a ghost ship, which is great news. It means they haven't planned this through. Where the hell did they get the ghost ship then? I mean, actually, when you stop thinking about it, it should be oh shit. Where the hell did they get a ghost ship that I'm now on? They planned this. So the backstory thing is just that What troubles the great black sorcerer on this grand occasion? It's basically just showing that Numite and Kunzite were lovers. It's like, okay, so she especially wants Yaira dead for that reason. Hang on. Okay. Clearly, the fact they have this ghost ship means they do have a plan, despite Yaira interpreting this as meaning they don't. They needed to have the ship somewhere. It just... But we also now get this reveal that is so stupid. And it breaks so many things. It is so stupid. Like, timeline-wise, it breaks things. So she had been called... Numite, the hallucination of Numite in Yaira 2, had referred to her as Iolite. Iolite. Okay? So it is referring to Yaira, then we see her in the background in this flashback with the Numite and Kunzite as lovers, right? Right? So it is then revealed, because Yeshua didn't realize this, that Yaira had joined the Forsaken Crystal Magi. So she's one of these Magus people as well. Kinda, sorta. Not really. It makes no sense. It really does. I get the whole... Look, I'm okay with the whole, has some sort of connection there. That's how she knew who Numite was. Fine. But here's the thing. They're all freaking monsters. She's not. How do you explain that? Especially with something that happens later on. It's like, this is actually really major. And it's like, nah. So much of it is just nonsense. So she is bound, and because the chains were made for her, basically it means she can't possibly break free, because they were made to counter her. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. But there's still this element, it's like, Yaira's like, alright, I get why you want me dead. Because, apparently if a Magus turns on and kills another, that then, they have to be killed. The debt has to be paid in blood. Because, they had an oath. It's like, okay, whatever. I'm sorry, it's just, that's kind of generic. I mean, just the whole, you killed my lover is kind of enough. But, then it's like, Yeshua's there, and it's like, okay, well, why is he upset? The day you left, the world changed. We were all to be punished for your traitorous acts and blah, blah, blah. This doesn't make sense, though. The day you left, the world changed. Yeah, was that important? It's okay. When Yaira originally left, the world changed according to Shua, but how/why, since she was only a peasant to Yanessa, the queen. I mean, it's like, it makes no sense. She should be irrelevant. I get the whole, her fleeing is a problem. It's like, I mean, we need to enact some justice. I got that. That I understand. But this is like, the world changed. It's like, no, it didn't. Why would it? It's like, one young woman fled. All right, we're going to track her down. It's going to take a while. Hey, you people that knew her, we're going to punish you for her insolence. And that's kind of it. Now, true, technically that would mean he should be punished. Maybe that's the world changing. That's kind of still stupid. That's also true. Oh my god, I hadn't even thought of this. See, now, we're fully in the whole, when this stuff starts annoying me, I start getting more and more technical. But the thing is, because I've already read through it and am so frustrated by so much of it, now I'm looking at it more closely and it's like, oh my god, this is so stupid. This is absolutely stupid. And it, because the timeline does not make sense. The timeline makes no sense. Okay. So, between Yaira leaving and Yeshua following Yanessa and crew to hunt her, he learned to fly in space with them, because apparently that's how they get between planets. I mean, seriously, that's what it shows here, is all four of them, because Numite is there as well, in space. Space is big, okay? I've actually thought about this. I've had to think about this, because, not just for general science fiction stuff, but I actually do consider with Sam in those stories, because he's immortal, and he can fly. Technically, he could decide to just fly through space if he wanted to. And I've thought about it, and it's like, yeah, he could, but planets are hard to find. I'm saying, if he were to decide to just, say, go from Earth to Mars, I'm not even sure he'd be able to spot Mars. Okay, I mean, it's like, he'd have to dial in, okay, that one's Mars, and just keep going towards that the entire time. Which is not necessarily going to be that easy. I mean, in fact, just today, today's April 1st, we just had the Artemis 2 launch. That's to go around the moon. The moon is freaking close. But it's still, there's a lot of math that has to go in to making sure you're traveling to it correctly, so that you can come around. Now, to Sam and these people, technically, they would be able to adjust their positions as they fly freely. Like, there's no cost of fuel, but still, how they breathing? I mean, there's still so many problems here. But it's like, that's Earth to Mars is going to be a hell of a lot crazier. I mean, it's like how I mentioned with the Zalen thing, the Ulysses probe, solar probe, that was meant to be in a polar orbit of the sun until it stopped functioning. I don't remember exactly when that was, but we shot it at Jupiter, because that would actually get it into the orbit more easily. It's cool. But it's like, it takes a lot of math to work that out. And some of that, yes, has to be dead reckoning, which is kind of easy to do when you got instruments. They're just flying. And when you get a certain distance away, it's very hard to tell a planet from a star. In fact, I think I mentioned at one point that since I'm basically reading fiction to do these videos in, I'm reading nonfiction for my own enjoyment. One that I recently read was talking about the Galileo affair, and something that I pointed out, because it was very interesting, because it helped set up what the context, the situation was at that time. Because, like, today, everyone's like, well, obviously the Earth, revolves around the sun. It's like, back then, you didn't understand. You had millennia people teaching it wasn't. That wasn't the case. Okay, like, Copernicus very much had an argument that it's like, well, I mean, obviously he's wrong, because we've got thousands of years of history saying so. Okay, I mean, that is important to understand. But one thing that mentions, I didn't try looking it up, but, like, that part of the actual etymology for planet is little star or moving stars, one of those, because basically the main star field, like what's in this behind me, doesn't move except for, like, normal movement of the day. Like, that was even a point for why the Copernican model would be wrong, is that in theory, if we're revolving around the sun, then shouldn't we see the positions of the stars change? A parallax, shouldn't we see that? Answer is yes. Yes, and it is there, but the stars are so far away, it's impossible to measure with the instruments of that time. It wasn't, I think it said there was like another 2 or 3 centuries before we finally got good enough instruments for that measurement to be made. Okay. But yeah, but the planets, because they were seen as, because it was Galileo that spotted the moons of Jupiter. That was the first time anyone had seen a planet having its own moons, having its own satellites. That was huge, because otherwise it was just the moon, which, okay, that clearly is going around the Earth. The sun, which from the perspective on Earth is clearly going around the Earth. Mercury and Venus are weird because they're between us and the sun, but it's like, okay, we'll work out like the epicycles for that. And then Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn were the only other planets known. They're outside, so they can sometimes move forward, move back. It gets weird. Oh, sorry. They would be the ones with the epicycles. Mercury and Venus don't necessarily have that. It was like they had to work all that out. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. Just that with planets, they resembled stars. It was the discovery of the Galilean moons that would really scream, hey, these things are not just stars. They're something else. Right? And it's not just that, they're close and move. No, there's things orbiting them. We need to explain this. That was... It was a very fascinating book, because it's called just... Crap, I'm pretty sure it's just titled The Galileo Affair. Hang on. No, let me actually try to pull it up. If I can find it. I honestly don't even quite remember. Okay, yeah, it'd be older than that, so I think it would be in here. Nope, that's that. No, but it was at least near that one, I think. This one? No, it was after that. This one? No, man. I don't think this is gonna... You know what? I should just do it this way. Okay, On Trial for Reason. That's the title of it. Okay, finally found it. Fortunately, it's still in my web history. Because I ordered it recently enough, and yeah, it's still there. Okay. Yeah, On Trial for Reason. Science, Religion, and Culture in the Galileo Affair. That's what I got. And yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting because of how it tries to provide... it's in a stack of books that I don't feel like digging into. So that's why I'm not just going to grab it. But no, it was very interesting because it is giving that context. But my point just being, the idea that you would just personally fly between planets is absurd. Because as large as planets are, once you're in space, they basically cease to be anything more than another star. So going back to like science fiction stuff with the concept of dark space that I have, which is past a certain distance from a star, the light level is going to be low enough that it is indistinguishable from other stars. That's the limit. That's where it's like, okay, you're now in dark space. Planets would kind of sort of be the same thing, where at a certain distance, they're indistinguishable from other heavenly bodies. That's why the idea of just... I'm going to say it this way, and is technically true, but not. They are clothed, but technically they are flying naked through space, as in without any instrumentation. Right, so naked as in like no compass, which wouldn't be relevant there. And it's quite a detour there, I know, but it's just, this is stupid. And I'm technical enough to recognize this is stupid. And I'm just... But yeah, the great Yanessa took it upon herself to find and bring you to justice. It's like, this dude is childhood friend of Yaira. Potentially could have been a lover to her. I don't think so back prior to her leaving, but it's like, kind of his appearance is like, could be a lover for her now, because, Gorm is long dead and all that. It's like, maybe. Nope. Now it's a, the Tyrant Queen, because she was clearly a tyrant. It's like, is the great Yanessa was coming to bring you to justice. And so I followed after them, because I could not bear the thought of them hurting you. But then I saw you. You were absolutely savage. You Tony burned to death. You butchered Yanessa personally. You enjoyed it. I followed to find my friend, but she is no more. I do not know who this murderous thing before me is, but the High Council passed judgment on you. which is not quite grammatically correct, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's not completely wrong, but it's awkward there. But still, it's like, is this guy an idiot? Because this is like full-on retard kind of stuff here, where it's like, these three were coming to kill you, because that's what their judgment was on you. You needed to die. I didn't want to see you hurt. So then when I saw you having to fight them, I stood back and waited to see you beat the shit out of the people that were trying to kill you. So you were defending yourself, and you successfully killed them. And for that, well, that means that you're lost. It's like, what? It's so stupid. There are ways it could have made sense. This isn't one of them. Because also, he didn't jump in. And I get the whole, fine, they invented his character later. Okay, he shouldn't have been present then. Because it leads to this obvious conversation. Why did he not help her? He cares about her. I don't want you being hurt. So while they're beating the shit out of you, I'm just going to stand by and watch. Yaira then points out the whole, hey, you're here for different purposes. She wants to kill me, you want to bring me back for justice. Who's going to settle this? Who's the tiebreaker? And then they're like, all right, well, I guess we got to fight now. Sure, yeah, okay. So they're fighting. Which, to be fair, that makes some sense. He's like, I'm going to bring you to justice. And she's like, I just want to kill her. Okay, yeah, it makes sense for these two to start fighting. I mean, that's not completely unreasonable. We then oddly leap over to Cleto, who is being checked out by Altona, and it's like the trident is on table, and a dude is reaching towards it. Now, two great treacherous, do not touch it! Lord Neptune will be very angry if he knows that his possessions have been touched. You frickin' stole it from Atlantis, woman. You touched it. You really think now's the time to be... So how is Yaira going to get out of this situation? Because now we cut back to this. She is going to summon the Wraiths, because we can totally do that. She just has that power, you know, because they are sworn to her, because she managed to put one of them beneath her heel. And the others were just like, I guess we're just going to do that. We're not going to attack her to free him. We're not going to do anything like that. So they come because, hey, the bonds were designed to chain her, not them, so they can break them. It's like, okay, I get that reasoning. It's still a freaking Deus Ex Machina that was already based on a contrivance that made no sense. So we're just layering contrivances here. So does that, and then has them start fighting for her. One of them somehow also becomes giant because is able to, like, be at scale with Kunzite, who's, like, many men tall, and it just, like, grabs her by the... it's... what? And then... like, the Wraiths are also able to take care of Yeshua, even though it's like when Yaira was fighting them previously, like in Yaira 2, they were actually kind of an issue to her. And he just immediately gives up. You betrayed me, Yeshua, my oldest friend. What are you going to do? Kill me like all the others? It's like... they were trying to kill her. You don't know me, and clearly you never truly did, nor I you. It's like, okay, yeah, that's fair. This is where our story ends. Goodbye, old friend, she says, as kissing him on the forehead. And then we get this at the Alpha Corps base camp. Which, where the hell is this? Is this back in Texas? Because they're in Spain. Now back in Texas. I don't know. Hello again, handsome. This is Yaira speaking to Solari. You weren't planning on leaving without saying goodbye, were you? Yaira, how do you always manage to break in undetected? Literally, A wall is smashed through. You have the giant spider thing that is kunzite there, somehow bound. That's not explained. Yeshua's unconscious, but also is bound in chains, which, by the way, are just going from, like, wrist to wrist, and are clearly long enough that he should at least be able to go this far with it. It's like, he's not really bound, and it's not like the chains meant for her would work on him. Why would they? They were meant for her, not him. But the wraiths are all here, as well. And it's like, this is not undetected. I'm sorry. This is like walking in somewhere almost with Godzilla next to you, and it's like, how did you get in here undetected? It's like the dude literally sets off a Richter meter with Richter scale, with every step. The hell you talking about? There's a freaking hole in the wall. This is not undetected. I want you to prison these two wherever you intend to hold me and throw away the key. They both escape. Well, mainly, actually, yeah, the fact they both escape doesn't make sense either. I will get to that. It's not too far. But yeah, they're both extremely dangerous and not to be trusted. Makes sense? My wraiths will stand guard. Because she can just say, hey, stay there. And that somehow, yeah, sure, whatever. It's a little bit more. If you tell me your story, maybe I can help. Solari says, help Stefania. You promised me, Solari. So past tense is important because she actually hears that. It's like, you promised what the bleep? Solari, why was Yaira talking to you like she knows you? It's like, I'm pretty sure it actually had been stated at some point in her presence that Solari and Yaira had crossed paths before, had interacted before. It's like, why is... Even if not, she's been with them for months. She's very interested in Yaira. Somebody, it would make sense. So Laurie mentioned it to her, or Ingrid, who also heard the story, maybe mentioned it to Stefania, because why would Ingrid think not to? Braxwell doesn't really seem to talk, don't know about that. But it's like, it's more reasonable to me that she already knew that there's a connection between Solari and Yaira than not. And I feel like if I went back through Yaira 1 and 2, I'd find a panel where Stefania is given this knowledge. It gets worse. So now, as Sally Rodell returns to the Projexis facility, and it's like, sup, Cleto, Altona's there. The dude that I don't remember his name. I don't care. But who's supposed to be in charge of Projexis Spain? He's there. So I think it's just the reflection that I'm seeing off of my monitor here of the lights. It keeps moving, and I'm just like, is there something? I wasn't sure if there was like a bug or something that I was catching. No, it's just how it's moving. But anyway, it's a magic dissipating trident. So she walks in there because Cleto's holding the trident. There's this other that guy there who's supposed to be in charge of Projexis Spain. Fine. Cleto runs up and hugs Yaira. Well, Sally, but yeah. She was holding the trident. It is now gone from her hand. It ceases, in fact, to be present at all until later when Altona's just like picking up from the ground. But it's like, for how important and powerful that thing is, you'd really think she'd stay holding on to it or something. I mean, just not an artifact you just let slip from your hands. But anyway, I need to stress this for what's about to happen. Sally Rodell works for Projexis. Altona Daniels works for Projexis. They were both sent from the headquarters in Texas of Projexis to Spain that has its own like headquarters there, so own branch office there. That's headed up by somebody who works for Projexis. Somehow, they were never told who this person was. Not given a name. Not given a picture. Not given even a basic description, such as, say, it's a woman. Because this is a dude. Because what's his name? Lincoln. I can never pronounce his last name. He's the one who founded the company. He walks in and is like, who's this guy? Why, this is Javier Cruz, your chief operations here. No, he is not. Where is Maria? Maria Garcia has run point on my operation for the last 10 years. I've never seen this man in my life. It's like... Hey, ladies, you're going to Spain. Cool. By the way, Maria Garcia is my chief operations. She's like my right-hand woman. She's awesome. She will take care of you. Go see her. Nah, it's just Javier Cruz. I'm gonna say, we just figured that you didn't know who your own COO was over here. So who is Javier Cruz? Well, he's actually the great Magus Painite. His whole thing is pain, but he's like just floating skeleton guy. I don't know who made. Oh man, why am I can't quite remember his name now. I'm just gonna quickly look it up because I know I can get it quickly. At least it should be relatively quick. Thank you. Where's just the... Bayogan. Okay. So, Bleach, the Bayogan, when either before being made into a Ivankar or after his release, that's basically what Painite looks like. Like, just throwing skeleton dude, cloak, that just well, I guess he does kind of sort of seem to have legs, but they might just be like these weird spider-like things that didn't really matter, but also flaming skull. Well, crown with flames going up. It's like, shit. So this is a thing. And he's focused on Yaira, so everyone else is going to run, except for Altona, because it's like, I gotta, you need to run, Yaira, you need to run, Altona, after you. It's like, floating Grim Reaper dude with fire off of with fiery crown on skull, and the alien woman kicks ass is saying you need to run. You're like, after you. So then it cuts to that apparently because of Yaira being attacked by Painite, this causes the wraiths that serve her to also become incapacitated, because they who are trying to guard, which by the way now have, instead of tridents, bidents, so it's two tines on the forks instead of swords that they were shown earlier, because they're like patrolling to guard the Kunzite and Joshua, who just like in glass cells. It's like, how the hell do you think that that's actually gonna protect against anything? That is so annoying, that the reflection here. It also doesn't help. Even though I've had these glasses for so long, see how flat they are? I'm still so used to glasses I had before where they curve on my face, and it does impact like what reflections I see here and things like it. Anyway. So because they're incapacitated, the wraiths are incapacitated, Kunzai is like, cool, melt through the glass. Is like, okay, she can escape now and join the fight. Why Joshua gets to escape too, I don't know, unless it's just oh, no, he can just break out. Maybe, but this is where Yaira said, wherever you're going to hold me, hold them. It's like, so this is meant to hold Yaira, who is at Solari's level of strength. And Joshua's just apparently able to walk right out of there as soon as the wraiths are gone. This is not impressive. We then get Stefania here. What were you doing talking to Yaira, Solari? What is your deal with her anyways? And just all this. She then has her own nightmare with seeing her grandmother. again, all that. So, yeah, why Kunzite apparently does either she's just been having these nightmares normally, or Kunzite is tormenting her. Don't know why. I see no reason that would benefit her, any plan. But then Ingrid discovers that, oh, yeah, the two escaped. Again, why would Joshua be helped? It makes no sense. Because Kunzite would have no benefit. Joshua was just fighting her. Why would she ever release Joshua? I don't even know where this is going to go, but... I'm sorry, it really is just so annoying seeing that there. But I know there's nothing that it might just be like an errant eyebrow or something just having to catch there, but anyhow. Or did he escape under his own power, which means the cells would never have held Yaira, despite her telling Solari to use these cells meant for her. It's just it. So anyway, Ingrid tells him, tells Solari. So Solari and Braxwell, who were doing press conference, were like, "Press conference is over. We gotta go. Ingrid, bring the kid too." So they go off. And we've got, because only Altona is left in the room with Yaira. Yaira is able to just start fighting. And Pain Knight actually wants Pain, feeds on Pain. We then cut to a panel where Pain Knight has destroyed the ceiling. He's up there. Kunzite is there, as is Joshua. Joshua's just flying up there. But I need you to know something. See that? See that? See how she's in her armor? She's back in her dress over here. In fact, it's not until down here that the armor starts manifesting around her. The way I even put it in my notes is, why do I feel like I'm doing QA here? Because that's what this feels like. It's like, how did no one say, she's not in her armor yet? And even if you want to be like, oh, well, she's having, a hallucination here. Fine, but it doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. And is so confusing. That's like, well, then where's the illusion start? Where does it stop? Because if you wanted to say, oh, well, you never know, then, you know what, I'll just say, fine. The whole of Yaira 3 is false. Because it's so stupid, it's so bad, it's all just an illusion, right? We're gonna find, Yaira 4 should start panel 1 saying, hey, yeah, it's actually all been Pneumite again. Because, yeah, we realized that none of it made any sense. None of Yaira 3 made any sense. I mean, you need to have it where we can actually trust what we're seeing here. Okay? But it's also, we're seeing what? That we know is the illusion, that we know is the nightmare, her family burning. That's already been established, so we see that. Fine. Nothing outside of... Fine. That's the illusion. Nothing outside of that, like this panel that shows her in her armor, should be an illusion. Because it doesn't make sense. Why would it be? I mean, it just... Unless... Hang on. Because it's also a little odd, because we also see, the... Is that possible? Son of a bitch, I hope not. Oh my god, it just occurred to me what this might be. Because it's also, in this panel you can see that the roof is ripped open, and it's a sky up there and all the... But what's happening here? If you look right there, they're ripping that... Oh, damn it! This is still a QA issue. Shit, that pisses me... Oh, man. The pages are in the wrong order. That's what I'm realizing here. Because that would then explain it. Because it, yeah, by the gods, this is not real. He feeds off pain. They are not real. This is not happening. You need a panel to explain that. But it's because look and see your greatest regret. You fail everyone you love to know you. It's a death sentence where we're seeing like all these people on fire burning. So her family there. Then we see the roof being torn off. Then we see the armor manifesting. All on the odd page. So that's this page, the page on the right. But the even page, the page on the left, the one right before it, she's in her armor. The roof is torn off. Now I got Kunzite here, who's like, okay, well, that's the one that does the nightmares, not Painite, and Joshua's here as well. And it's just like, okay, so if these were flipped the other way, they would make more sense. Not perfectly, because the transition to, it's like, she's just suddenly, instantly into the nightmare doesn't make a great deal of sense. But it's like, okay, because we've got like an insert panel here. Like, you know, this thing right here, this would make more sense ahead of this panel. Right? It would make more sense ahead of this one, but this whole page I feel is supposed to be here, not here, and like these are supposed to be flipped. That I feel is what's going on. But damn, order is that would make more sense. Her armor would be manifested first. But also, I really hate how late I'm up now, but whatever. I'm nearly done. I'm nearly done with Yaira 3. I'm not nearly done with complaining and criticizing. Well, hopefully criticizing. Hopefully I'm defending all my complaints with their criticisms, but being torn open after it already is open, unless well, sorry, I messed up the order of things. Her armor would be manifested first, and we see the roof torn open first. It's like, yeah, that. See, part of what's also annoying with this is if these are out of order. That should have been caught in QA on the Omnibus, but also makes me wonder, was that in the original? I don't know. I legitimately don't know. Because to me, I would also believe you would potentially do some editing when doing the Omnibus. It doesn't seem like that's been the case. But it's like this. If this is in fact out of order, that's a problem. But I do also want to point this out. Because these aren't the front and back of one page. No, this is the front and back of two separate pages. Which would mean this isn't just like my omnibus here is bad. This would have been how it was printed. Right? So it's not just, oh, well, this one page is here when the page here is wrong. It should have been here. It's not like that. It's literally these pages are what are flipped, which means that the whole of these pages, front and back, are wrong. So yeah, that's likely every omnibus then. Anyway, we then have Alpha Core arrives. And remember, they're supposed to be in Spain, but it's like, nah, right next door. Right next door. Not the other side of the planet. Nearly. And again, Solari is carrying Ingrid here. While Braxwell is shown flying. He was also shown flying earlier, and Stefania is flying, but we know she can't. And he's like, I'm here to take these two back to jail. And then Painate is, burn on the damned souls you failed to save, Solari. Because somehow he knows who's... I mean, to be fair, in theory, this dude's been on Earth for a while. We don't know how long. Same with Kunzite. We don't know how long. but it's just there. And they burn down the damn souls you failed to save, Solari. And he's just like, alright, I guess that means we're using force to bring him back. So they start fighting. And it's like, you literally have two Magus people here. So magic is involved. And so, Alphacore's like, yeah, we can do this. And it's also weird, because, like, Ingrid doesn't fly, but Solari is, again, just throwing her. Which is a little bit of a problem, because, like, Stefan's getting in the way. But it's like, Ingrid's just thrown, and we don't get anything as far as, like, how she's managing any of this. But, because she should be in serious trouble. Now, because they're being taken care of, Yaira can focus on Joshua. Fine, whatever. Don't test me, Yaira. I've been training since you left. You swore that you would never learn. What changed since I left? Everything. You know what? No. Don't just give me that. I want to know more. Okay? Because also, as I said, him flying is already evidence that he had been training. She should have asked that question earlier. That was a reasonable question to ask earlier, because it clearly showed, hey, something's up. But no, nothing about that until now. And it's also... Crap, I'm just trying to think when the... Did I already complain about the timeline stuff? I don't think I went into full detail. So... In Yaira 1, she crashes to Earth naked. She doesn't have the sword with her that she gives to Gorm, and ultimately uses to kill Numite. In Yaira 2, we see her steal it and leave Yeshua behind as she goes out. Okay, fine. She's going, she has a sword. She didn't have it before, she has whatever, fine. We're going to ignore that clear problem. But she leaves for that. She then joins the Magus Circle thing, which her leaving to do that, who Yanessa's aware of the Magi, because Numite is with her. Yaira going there pisses off Yanessa such that, okay, I need to punish everyone. The world changed because of she's now just over here instead of over there. She's had the sword when going, but then we don't... Apparently she kept it, and it's like, okay, when I leave here with the Magus, I'm gonna take it with me to Earth, but not have it with me when I get there. It's... And then... Joshua here is going to train for some reason, follow... Because, oh, I have to save Yaira, but then when I see she needs saving, I'm not going to... None of it makes sense. None of this timeline makes sense, because... It feels like they're just, hey, had this idea for the Mega stuff. Let's just start forcing it in here where it doesn't make sense. Let's make Yaira having been part of it, even though it doesn't make sense with the timeline we already put together, which the timeline already had its problem. Because the sword, she didn't come to Earth with it, and then suddenly has it. And then you suddenly show she had it before she left. That's a major problem, okay? But it can be yeah, you know what, fine, they just didn't really think of it, so it's, a light retcon. It's not that bad. But it's like, yeah, it's a problem. Because it's also, when we first see the sword, it's freaking glowing green. So it was reasonable that she brought it with her, but I even went back and looked, like, no, she doesn't have it, so I guess it's just glowing green for whatever reason, but she got it on Earth. That's not unreasonable. So she's fighting Joshua, and it's like, there's no reason to believe that the fight is going poorly, but Altona's down there. Hey, Yaira grabs the trident, throws it, like really hurling this thing, because they're just up in the air, and it's a big-ass piece of metal, and she just chucks that thing like it's nothing. Yaira catches it, and becomes like Archangel Yaira or something. I don't know. It's just... Ignore that page. But look at that. Look at that. And it's like now she's suddenly got these 6 wings. She's holding it. There's the electricity. The armor's golden. I think there's some additional pieces to it, maybe. Yeah, there are. I was like, boom. Super Yaira. I was like, her hair is... Well, no, she normally has blonde hair, but it's like, okay, she has now gone Super Saiyan for Yaira, right? And what happens, all because she has this, what happens next? Basically nothing. Joshua's just down on the ground. Why he's down there, don't know. Pain Knight comes up and is just like, well, there is more than one way to defeat you. You owe us a black sorcerer, Magus Iolite, and we will be satisfied. And just, like, turns him into a like, zombie dude, who I guess is going to be black sorcerer, which then begs the question, why did Yaira not undergo this? Since apparently it's a process done. I mean, it is mentioned later that, oh, he's resisting absorbing the crystal, but still, he's clearly like a freaking zombie here. Okay, I think there's a better shot of him later. I guess not. But, I mean, you can see the transition from this to that. Yaira never went through this. She volunteered for it. None of it makes sense. But Yaira's seeing this, and then Kunzite is tormenting her as well with a new nightmare. No, we will not. And because it's also it wasn't clear at all to me here. But apparently Pain Knight, after doing this, was like, okay, he and I are just gonna bounce. We're just gonna leave. Not I'm doing this so now I know he's on my side and he's more powerful so we can really kick your ass. No, it's just we're out. But then Yaira, well, here, Kunzite is like really trying to hit her with the nightmares. No, we will not retreat, except they just did. It's super not clear that's what happened. It really is. You need to put in like an extra panel at least showing them disappearing or something, not just like them being surrounded with energy, because like they're freaking sorcerers. Surrounding with energy is like them just walking. I will kill you, Yaira. I will kill you for what you did to my love. So all these nightmares are surrounding Yaira, and she's collapsed on the ground. You needs to just like that. The trident is on the ground in front of her. Her hands are here. She's not in touch. She's not in contact with it, but she's still in this super Yaira mode with the wings and the golden armor. However, on the next page, when she hands the trident over to Solari, she's back to the regular armor. Is this now she just has this power unlocked? She can turn it on and off whenever she wants? I mean, I get that is a thing in some cases. Like in some stories, it is oh, you got that? Well, now you can just on and off whenever you want. But it's like, what? But then, because one of the images Kunzite uses is of Numite holding Carmen's body. It's like, don't use her image for your nightmare. What? Carmen? And then, yes, I hope you enjoyed saying it. It will be the last name you ever utter. You want blood? Well, I shall bathe in yours. And then she goes and attacks Kunzite. And Stefania is just there and it's like, Carmen? My abuela? It's like, yes. Yaira previously said to you, I knew her. I cared about her. This is not a surprise. This is very much no knowledge. I'm not sure about the whole Solari Yaira thing. I'd have to go back to Yaira 1 and 2, but I do know Yaira did say to her, I cared about her. I do know for a fact she said that. I don't have to go back. I know that happened. I'm going to try to go back quickly now. See if I can find that, though I'm not. Yeah, I guess it shouldn't actually be there because it shouldn't be in Yaira 2 because Yaira 1 ended with her apparent death. Okay, so it wouldn't be there. I know I'm not crazy on this. Oh, that's right. Yeah. No. That was... Stefania, I don't want to hurt you. I knew Carmen, your Layla, well. Well, I loved her. I lost her too. That's right. She does say that they're in Spanish. That's when Solari is then like, hey, we're not you're not the only bilingual people here. It's like, yeah, so she knew. It's like, Carmen, my brother. It's like, yes, you knew that from, like, the second day you knew who Yaira was and all that. It's like, you've known this for a very long time, woman. Why are you just stupid all of a sudden? Anyway, she uses her power, Yaira does, to freeze Kunzite, which Solari was like, if you kill her, I will have to fight you. It's like, it's a freaking giant spider monster. Why are you obsessed with protecting its life? Okay? They were fighting to try to kill you, and you literally just saw another one of these things, Painite, grab a dude's head and turn him into a zombie. And you're really like, oh, don't you kill him. It's like, this is a fight to the death. If Kunzite dies, that's not a bad thing, Solari. I'm sorry. It's... Yeah, relax, Solari. Just frozen. She shouldn't be any more trouble. You know that isn't what I meant. I don't give a shit. I mean, it's like... let her be dead. Why? There's no reason not to kill her. And Solari cannot be, like, yelling, Yaira, as though telling her to stop. It's... Take my returning this as a gesture of goodwill. Handing the trident over to Solari. Please hand it to Dr. Sally Rodell, so back to herself, with my thanks for borrowing it. And then as she flies off, which neither Solari nor Stefania choose to follow, she's in the regular armor. So it's like, she turned off the armor by her own will, because before she dropped the trident and was still in the armor. So she's then being tormented a little bit by the whole what happened to Joshua. Cleto appears. You will have to be strong to face him. Neptune, you have me and his trident here, and he will come for us both. I really hate this, because it's like, then this is further confirming that what we saw before is him. Maybe. But it's like, it makes him very evil. And also, I almost forgot, a little bit earlier, one of the Magi, I don't remember which, referred to them as Neptunians. And it's like, oh, I hate this. Because in Yaira 1, Neptune's name was hidden. They were never, the species was never referred to, was never given a name. But also, Yanessa was in charge. And Neptune was like a myth and if he exists, he needs to die kind of thing. It's like, there is no way in hell that you would allow his name to be the name of your people, right? Unless it's you think that there are people around that are just, the given name is human or something. I mean, it's like, this is stupid, okay? This doesn't make sense. But anyway, she's now got the trident, and apparently Cleto is living with her. It's like, hey, yeah, Projexis, you can learn how to gain immortality from her. By the way, she's just going to be in my place with the trident. So then we cut to seeing the Boots Void, which, by the way, yes, it is a thing. Well, I know Boots is, at least. I don't remember if there's, in fact... It sounds right that there is, in fact, a void there. That there is just a spot in the Boots constellation where it's like, there's just nothing there. We don't know why. That's apparently where the Magi are. And we see all of them together. You got Painite, but you got Pyrite, Merlinite, Moldavite, Brookite, Lavikite, Selenite, and Zeolite. And whatever name they're going to give Joshua, who, points have made, this one fights the Forsaken Crystal, but soon they shall merge as one. Again, why was this a process that Yaira never went through? No explanation. But then we get the reveal that apparently, Selenite apparently has the ability to view the future, it seems. Even I could not have foreseen such a thing, specifically the I don't know why you necessarily do that. But the trident, like, still longing for its master, and so would be a problem here. Fine, whatever. But also that Painite apparently also was disguise himself as Neptune, as we saw him. See, right down there. As we saw him when Yaira was in Atlantis and discovered Cleto. So it's like, oh, great. So then now we even have less of an idea what the hell's going on with Neptune. Because is this a Painite? Because Painite, being the evil son of a bitch he is, say, okay, that can make sense to me for... Sorry, I'm just... Yeah. You might hear a pop. Yep. That's turning off the amp from my desktop. So Painite being an evil son of a bitch, okay, that makes sense. But that doesn't explain the whole... when this happened, because Cleto's immortality should be centuries old, if not millennia old. So does it mean then that Neptune did do it and disappear, except that he came back and saved Yaira's life and gave her the armor? But none of it makes sense. It's just such a confused timeline. And it's oh boy. I mean, and there is supposed to be a Yaira 4. It mentions, story continue, whatever the hell it is, in Yaira 4. It's like, fine, whatever. Oh, and there was something else. I also should mention this. So, yeah, it's, just... is a obvious and clear lack of coherence and consistency to me. It is just... I even put it in my notes. They're quasi-payoffs, what payoffs we get here that don't have setups. Because, like, it's not even payoffs. It's like, it just happens. I feel no investment. I feel no, like, oh, yeah, true, it wasn't set up, but oh, yeah. I don't even feel that. I was like, her just going super Yaira, it's like, that's even a thing? It's like, okay, it looks kind of cool, but it's like, you look at Dragon Ball Z and Super Saiyan. It's like, that was literally being built up for, like, dozens of episodes or something. It was a big freaking deal. For him to finally achieve it, it's like, okay. Yeah, now we see what that is, and whoa, that's cool. It's like, this is just... we had no idea this was a thing. She suddenly just holds onto the trident, poof. Has no significance. But there's also... I'll just... open the thing up. Read the line. So this is Painite talking to Selenite before just arbitrarily deciding to disguise themselves as Neptune while they're just hanging out here. But when Zaylin interfered, we thought all was lost, that she had escaped us unlike any before her. Damn him. It's like, except that, well, I guess Neptune didn't necessarily escape the Magi, but it's like, when Zaylin interfered, what the... when... Zaylin has not existed since his own book, which was potentially set, like, well before any of these events. That's Bloodruth. I'm just, like, flipping through the rest. Not that I will necessarily catch anything, but I'm just, might I spot anything suggesting Zaylin exists in the rest of these, or are we just like name dropping a dude saying, hey, there's this backstory here, even though it just does not make sense? Yeah, no, I got no idea. I got no idea. It doesn't make sense to me. And it doesn't help. I don't like Zaylin. I do not like the character. It's like that's that other video, though. That's that other part of the review, written review. It's like, oh yeah, just Zaylin. What? Why? And it's all, I would assume that then the Zaylin book was written for, so I guess it was this is a tease that, oh, we're gonna get that story. It's like, I don't care. I don't like Zaylin. And it's like, he interfered. It's like, how? It feels like the timeline, as I've already said, is incredibly confused with very little coherence. And it's all because of Yaira 3. What issues are between Yaira 1 and 2, like the sword thing, it's like, okay, I can take as like a minor retcon. I'm good with it. This is just like, what is continuity? We're just throwing things in here. And I can think of one way to put it that is kind of insulting, and I'm not sure I got a problem with that. Part of the reason that the sequel trilogy in Star Wars is bad, it's basically the main reason as well. J.J. Abrams is not a good director, and one very clear example of this is one of the things I heard about during the production of The Force Awakens. What's his name that plays Poe Dameron? I don't remember the actor's name. I'm sorry. He apparently made a comment about how, hey, because he originally he was supposed to die in the crash of him and I'm blanking on the name. It is too late for this. I can see him, but the Boyega character, the black guy, it's just gone. When they crashed, it was supposed to be that Poe Dameron died and wasn't seen again. But apparently he was just like, hey, I'm really liking this, liking the character. Can I stick around? And Abrams was like, sure, okay, yeah, we'll just rewrite it that like you on the other side of the dune. I hate that. I think I actually have seen that there are novelizations for those. I ain't touching them because I can't stand the movies. All right, and it says I don't think I could even read them and laugh at how bad I expect them to be. I think it would just hurt me, like, because I just feel it would end up being like Revenge of the Sith, that novelization that has such garbage. But in any case, it's just the whole, like, it's just on the other side. This feels like how Yaira 3 went here and how it has so many continuity issues. It feels to me so much like somebody came to them. It was like, hey, we want to do this stuff. And that would mean changing some of the stuff here. And they're like, oh, cool, awesome, we'll just do it. We'll just pull it all in there. And instead of going, you know what, no, the plan that we have here, this is how it's going to go. We can, play with that some. It's like, it can still be like this. We can go to left field. You're asking us to go to the line of scrimmage, though. The response should have been yeah, we'll do left field if we can work that out, but we're not going over to the football stadium. But instead say, no, we're fully in the football stadium. It's like, that's also kind of what it feels like. And it makes me think of that story with Abrams from Force Awakens. It's like, hey, can we do this? And instead of saying, no, we can't. The character is supposed to die. It's like, because it's not an important character, we're not going to make it an important character now, because we're in production, we're filming, we can't do that. Instead of being a competent, good director that would tell an actor, sorry, it might be a good idea, but we can't do anything here. Instead of that, just being oh yeah, sure, we can put that in. It's like, part of the responsibility of a director is going to be reining in ideas. Right? Because it's supposed to be their vision. And I get, you take the suggestions. I get that. I understand that. That can still be good and be healthy. But when it's hey, can we just, completely rewrite half the script to accommodate me sticking around? A good response would be, no. When it's hey, we want to do this Magi nonsense stuff, because we think that would be cool. Could you make Yaira now a part of that? It's like it completely destroys the timeline of her leaving and leaving her world and coming to the planet, coming to Earth. Completely screws that up. But can we do it anyway? Sure. It's like, at least that's what it feels like to me. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know what I could be missing because it's the omnibus. It's got all the stuff at this point, and it's like this is. I liked Yaira and Yaira 2. I'm pretty sure I recommended both. I don't remember if it was a weak recommendation or straight recommendation for which one of them. I think it was a straight recommendation for Yaira 1. I think Yaira 2 I gave a weak recommendation, but both were recommended. And this, I'm bordering on, I don't remember if I even know I said this or not, but negatively flavored failure to recommend. That's where it is. I'm bordering on saying you shouldn't bother reading this. That's a waste of your time. That's how close it is. And I might change my mind. I might push it that. I don't know. But I might. That's how pissed I am at this. Because it is so just... Does any of this make sense? No, but we're just going to take it. It feels so much like that, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah. Next up will be Saints and Sinners, which are shorter stories, which is gonna be nice because I'm still getting better, and I'm gonna hate myself tomorrow so much because of how late it is getting. Yeah. See you next time. Well, here, see you next time specifically for Saints and Sinners Chasing Ghosts. So, see you for that.